Hey y'all, welcome back to Camira's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a southern pound cake with sour cream. This pound cake has a delicious crusty top, and I'm going to give you the #1 tip that is going to save you from having a dry pound cake. The main mistake a lot of people make is that they accidentally put way too much flour in their pound cake because they take their measuring cup and they just scoop the flour straight out the bag. But what you don't realize is that this flour is actually really compressed, so you're putting in more flour than you need. 1 cup of flour weighs 120 grams. This is all-purpose flour, but I'm going to just scoop the flour straight out the bag and show you how much extra flour I'm actually putting in. On the scale, you will see this has 153 grams of flour. I'm putting in about 33 extra grams, or that's about 1/4 of a cup extra flour. Imagine I did this for all 3 cups. Now I have about 3/4 of a cup extra flour that I'm not supposed to have in my cake, resulting in a dry pound cake that sometimes is a little bit tough. So I'm going to scoop out and show you what you really should have. Now look, this is 120 grams of flour. This is how much you need for 1 cup. I'm now going to weigh out 360 grams of flour because I'm using 3 cups. This is a very easy way to get your flour right. And trust me, a kitchen scale is cheap. I'll link one in the description box. And this is way faster than sifting the flour and spooning it into the cup, which is the old school way. I'm adding some salt and some baking powder and baking soda to my flour, and then I'm going to mix this together and continue on with the rest of the cake recipe. Now I have 3 sticks of unsalted butter that are at room temperature, and y'all know I'm just going to go ahead and toss those right in. Before I add my sugar, I'm just going to beat this for about 30 seconds just to break up that butter. It's going to help the sugar cream in better. This is 3 cups of sugar, and sugar does not compress like flour, so you don't have to weigh it, but I will leave the measurements at the bottom in case you want to just go ahead and do it because you're going to have the scale anyway. I'm going to beat this for about 8 minutes until it is fluffy. Now back in the day, you used to have to whisk this by hand until you couldn't hear the sugar anymore, but y'all, look, we gonna save our elbows and our arm muscles today. And we gonna let the beaters do the work, baby, okay? So go ahead and beat this until it is nice and fluffy. I have 6 eggs, yes, 6. This may seem like a lot of eggs, but we need that moisture in the cake. After I add every egg, I'm going to beat for 30 seconds to 45 seconds after each egg. Trust me, this will result in the fluffiest mixture that is going to guarantee that your pound cake is going to rise and have a great texture. I'm not going to show you doing it after each one, but just know that I did beat it for that long after adding each and every egg. At the end, you should get a mixture that looks something like this. Beautiful, fluffy, with a nice color. This is our 3 cups of correctly measured flour and a little salt and the baking soda. Now I'm going to alternate between the flour mixture and also using some sour cream. If you have never used sour cream in a pound cake, you have to try it because it's so much higher. It has a much higher fat content, so it really adds a richness to the cake that you can't get from milk. Now, of course, I let this come up to room temperature before I added it into the batter. I'm going to slowly incorporate this with the mixer because I do not want to overactivate the gluten. You guys, if you're enjoying these recipes, please let me know in the comments what other desserts or any other recipes that you guys would love to see me make. I have some ideas, but of course, I want to make some things that you all enjoy. Now I'm going to go in with my flavorings. You have a lot of options in this area. I'm using 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I used a little bit of the imitation and a little bit of the pure extract because that's what I had. Now to continue to flavor this cake, I'm going to be using 1/2 teaspoon of rum and 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract. You don't have to use these, but I find they add a nice flavor, and I'm also going to use a little bit of lemon zest because I did not have lemon extract. But you have a lot of options. So you could either just add 1 to 2 tablespoons more of lemon extract on its own. You could just add in a little teaspoon of rum and no coconut. You can do anything that you would like, but I don't like just using vanilla because I find it to be just a little bit too plain for my own taste. But the extra add-ins are optional. Now, one thing you don't want to do is squeeze in the lemon juice in this cake because it's going to throw off the wet and dry balance going on here. Okay, so only the extracts will work. I'm going to gently fold in my additional extracts and the lemon zest, and I'm going to make sure to scoop the bottom of the bowl. A lot of times you have some batter that is not thoroughly mixed in right there at the bottom. Of course, we are going to grease and flour this bundt pan. I like to use shortening to do this. You guys know this is my old reliable bundt hand. Got this from my mama house because you know when you doing cakes for the holidays or any sort of event, you do not want to be put to shame with a cake that is not about to come out, okay? Be thorough with this because you don't want it to get stuck. And then I'm going to go in with my flour. I like to first put it on the nozzle because that's pretty much impossible to get unless you shake it right on the nozzle. And then I'm going to go around and just hit the rest of the flour around, and then I'll dump out the excess. Now that my cake pan is prepared, I'm going to go ahead and slide in this delicious batter. Guys, I love to eat me a little bit of cake batter. It was so good. So I'm going to fill up my pan. Now, if yours does not fit, please do not overfill. Just make some little cupcakes to the side, okay? And then I'm going to smooth out the top of the pound cake, and the little bit that's left on that spatula, baby, y'all know I'm going to lick that, okay? I'm going to put this in a 325-degree oven for anywhere between 60 to 75 minutes. At the 60-minute mark, you check it. Mine took about 17 minutes to cook with a toothpick coming out clean. At that time, I took my pound cake out the oven, and I'm just going to let this sit for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to go around the pan with the knife to ensure that it comes out because y'all know, okay, hey, we ain't trying to let the devil get up in this pound cake, okay? This thing going to have to come out. Amen. Praise Jesus, okay? I flipped mine over with a plate and it came out perfectly. It was so beautiful, but guys, I really wanted that crispy, crunchy top to show. I love a crunchy top on a pound cake. It is so good, so I had to flip mine over, okay? Look at that. Look at that. That is perfect. And if you follow this recipe, your crust is going to come like this. When the pound cake is this good, you don't cut yourself a slice of pound cake. You cut yourself a hunk of pound cake. All right? Because this was so tasty. If you enjoyed this recipe, please let me know in the comments and consider subscribing and liking this video. You can also tag me on Instagram at Camira's Kitchen if you make this recipe. I thank you so much for joining me today, and goodbye.